the sun. The moon does 70% of it because it's very close to the Earth. They're very close, so they have a strong pull. The sun's much larger, but it's so far away that it has a much smaller effect. Okay? So we're going to start by talking about why the tides are different heights every day. Okay? And because right now the moon and the sun are perfectly aligned, they have the most pull because those two are both pulling in the exact same direction. Okay? So this is a new moon for us because the sun's shining on the back of the moon. So from Earth it looks dark. Okay? So on a new moon we get really good tides because the sun and the moon are working together. 7 days later the moon is here. So now we're getting a 70% pull here and a 30% that's kind of robbing from it or stealing from it. So on a day like this, when we'd be seeing like a half moon, we have very small tides. Like here, maybe only 32 or 33 feet, which are still massive tides, but for us, very small, because they're not working together. They're actually fighting one another. Okay. 7 days later, this would be a full moon because the sun lights up the whole face of it, and we can see the whole face of the moon. And then again, they're working together. They're stretching out. They're stretching out because you get a tide on either side of the Earth. So they're stretching out. They're working together, so we get really good tides on a full moon, and then back to not so good tides again, and then eventually back where we started. And I said we have two. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What do we have today? A full moon? A
We're a few days after a full moon, I believe.
So the tides won't be quite as
the tides are the tides are right around average for us right now. Yeah, we've got a 39 today. Yeah. Yeah. And then the reason they're at a different time every day is because we get two tides, one closest to the moon and one high tide on the opposite side. Okay. So if we start our day, we're going to pretend we're right here on the face. If we start our day lined up with the moon, we start off with a high tide, and then as the Earth rotates, we move away from the high tide, so we're now having a low tide. Okay? Then another 6 hours later, another high tide. Okay? At the 18-hour mark, another low tide. 24 hours later, we're back where we started, but the moon, on its 28-day cycle around the Earth, has moved 13 degrees. So we have to keep spinning for another 52 minutes to line up with the moon again. And then we get our next high tide. So our tides are basically moved by about 52 minutes every day. It'd be really nice and simple if they were the same time every day. Then we wouldn't have to put out a schedule and everything. I'm just a park interpreter. Yeah, and a professional photographer by trade actually. So